Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all of my crypto nerd fans. My name is Monty Allen, and I am your crypto nerd. And you're a day late and algo short because this is yesterday's Algorand news. Let's see what happened because it was a busy day. Before we do that, though, please like, subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified if I've got live avenues or something headed your way. And if you're on Twitter, hit hashtag algonews. You can find me there. I'm at Real Monty Allen. All right, let's see what we got. So first up, we've got a really cool article. This is by Thomas Neal. All right, so Thomas Neal posted this. I put it on my Twitter. I linked there. I'll also put it in the description. And he wants to know if Algorand is the Ethereum killer. So check it out. I mean, he got a few things wrong. I wish he would have notated how many third parties operated in the ecosystem, over 700 people operating or building on the Algorand blockchain now. But he did a good job there. He also really highlighted smart contracts. We've been talking about that. Carbon neutral, carbon negative, as a matter of fact. The speed, he talked about that. And he kind of highlighted really this Bermuda's healthcare system, MA-Pay, and the $800 million in payments that can be processed there. I didn't really cover this when it happened about, 3 weeks ago? I think the news broke on that. I was waiting to see what came of it when it went into production, but he highlighted that, and that is his, one of his cornerstones, one of his, founding moments or, breakthrough moments for Algorand, which I thought was interesting. And then he talks about needing critical mass, and I am in agreement. We need critical mass to sort of have the ecosystem take over and be self-fulfilling. Once people start building on the building blocks of Algorand. So, there's the blockchain. That's really kind of the layer one. And then you get layer two, which is, maybe a Yieldly or something like that. And then you get somebody else who builds on top of that. So then we get... Ooh, speaking of Yieldly, stay tuned for that. But you get somebody who's building on the building blocks. Maybe AlgoDex is out there, and then maybe you get an AlgoDex tracker, and then you get somebody who builds on what is built on the blockchain, and that's when you get that critical mass. And we're getting there, right? We're getting pretty close. I mean, look at Algo Optimizer. So he built something for the Algorand wallet, which is built, for the blockchain. So once we start seeing these additional services spring up, then the ecosystem is self-contained and self-fulfilling, and it spurs its own growth. And we've been talking about this for a long time, and how the Algorand Foundation is inputting money into the ecosystem for all of these folks, these 700 folks who are building on the blockchain. And eventually, enough of those projects are going to get off the ground that we're going to see some real movement. Speaking of projects getting up and off the ground, we've got this new one. So we all go together at ALGO. Posted this on Twitter, and this is where I saw this for the first time. So I think a couple of folks reposted this. If you do this, hit hashtag algonews. It's easier for me to find you. But this was interesting. I'm not sure if this project is just really early on, or if it's just not maybe it's just a couple of guys that are operating on this. This Fortier blockchain. It seems to be primarily right now revolving around quantum voting systems, kind of like Qvote that we saw a few days ago. So we've got this Fortier voting algorithm. And I don't know, is that just I think that's just a typo that they had in the announcement there. It's Fortier. Fortier Blockchain's grant award includes smart contract architecture that dictates the creation and transfer of operations of Choice Coin. Now, Choice Coin is very similar to how Qvote is going to work, where they have this walled garden where they give you coins, I take it, so that you have these coins, and you vote with your coins, vote with your Choice Coin, and you can allocate, if they give you 100 coins, maybe you allocate 68 for this option, and 28 for this option, and 12 for this option. So you get ranked choice voting system. is my take on it. And I'm not sure what this means. An open source volatility indicator for algo. I'm not sure how ChoiceCoin will impact that. It'll be interesting to see if they expand on that and what the next steps are. I looked for Archery Chiduri, the CEO on LinkedIn. Couldn't find much information on them. Their website is really pretty sparse. I mean, it looks like they just threw up a couple of links. It honestly, it looks like a website from like 1998. Right? Did I just go, you welcome to AOL, right? Like, you've got mail, is what this website looks like. They've got a couple of links. They did some Bitcoin Expo hackathon where, I think was their first foray into Algorand. And they're probably brilliant people. They just haven't had time to get to their website stuff yet. But I wish they had something a little meatier on there for me to look at and for to deep dive into and to find out who these folks are. I followed them on Twitter, reached out over there, but I haven't really seen anything or heard anything back. I don't know. We'll see. There's 700, new projects going on, so sometimes you just roll the dice and you never really know what's going to take off and what's not. So I wish these folks all the best. All right, let's move on to what you really wanted to talk about today anyway. I know you wanted to complain about Yieldly, or you're not sure what's going on because you haven't used Yieldly and you want to laugh at everybody who did because you knew it was messed up from the beginning. I don't know what's going on with Yieldly, so people are mad though. I mean, I do know what's going on, I'll tell you. But people are mad. So, at Steve JK. So, Steve JK. Is Steve really your name, or are you just kidding? JK. Anyway, so he says this would be a great idea if you didn't just scam people out of a week's worth of rewards. 3 weeks in and Yieldly already falling short. Not a good look for the algo ecosystem. We were just talking about the algo ecosystem. And I've given Yieldly a lot of props over the last couple of weeks. Isaiah, Blacksky Isaiah says he just lost 7 days of staking. I'm very confused. Why you would change this right before the lotto drawing in the weekly claim. Also spreading it out over 7 days with only 7 times the transaction fees. It should be changed back. Weekly interest was a superior system. Nobody was complaining. Well, there were complainers. It's the internet. I mean, everybody complains. You can't please all the people all the time. All right, 2773 Buffalo Man says that I just checked my claimable rewards, which I claim at the same time each week, probably right after the weekly lotto ends, because that's when Yieldly recommended that we claim these. Anyway, can you explain why after staking for 1 week the rewards are 80% less than last week? This is unacceptable. So, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So if you're driving, you can't see this, but if you're watching this on YouTube, then I just put up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more complaints, really. People tagging Kelly Callahan on there. People tagging Algorand on there. At Algorand's on there a couple times. I'm confused. This is unprofessional. This is a shit show so far, by the way. This is what people are saying online. So what actually happened? So Yieldly put out this announcement late yesterday afternoon. Initially, I saw the announcement. I thought it was a great idea. I retweeted it and said thank you, only to find out later that there were some of these issues. So here's what happened, the long and the short of it. So Yieldly decided that, hey, making people wait for this weird timing of only claiming once a week is the optimal time to claim your rewards. It was convoluted. They had 6 different factors. There was a complex reward system based on, in part, how many people or how much was staked at any given point in time. And right before, or right as a new staking round begins, you see your balances start to shoot up just a little bit. So there was some fluctuation there. Anyway, it was convoluted. It wasn't perfect. I actually had, when I first started, I was claiming every day. I didn't realize you could make possibly more Yieldly if you waited a week. This last time I waited a week, and this time I waited a week. So I waited a full week. I waited until, within the 24 hours after the lottery pool had stopped. You're supposed to stake your claim, and that would have the highest rewards for you. Well, so I log in, I claim, and I realize, hey, Yieldly changed this. So they changed this. So instead of being rewarded, every 7 days, really, Now the rewards are distributed every 30 minutes. Well, what they didn't realize, I'm hoping anyway, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here a little bit, is that by changing it so it's distributed every 30 minutes, they wiped out. So they wiped all of the rewards clean. And most of these people had been saving for 7 days. And they just said, okay, now you get the 30-minute reward instead of the 7-day reward. Now, if you had been claiming like I did the first week every day, so the first time around, the first round, I was claiming every day. I didn't know better. If you had just been doing that continually, you actually made out like a bandit because you made more than I did on the staking for the last 7 days. There were essentially 6 days where you didn't get rewarded. 0 rewards for 6 days. On the 7th day, you got rewarded. And so a lot of people just got screwed out of some Yieldly. Now, Yieldly's not worth a whole ton, right? It's worth like less than a penny. Last I looked, it was 7/10 of a penny, 6/10 of a penny, somewhere in that neighborhood. But, people start to freak out a little bit when there's real monetary value. And there is real monetary value, especially if you had a decent amount staked there. So I don't know if maybe they didn't realize that it would wipe out everybody. Maybe they thought that it would just compound or it would add to when they redid this algorithm. So at the very worst, it was malicious. They thought, hey, I don't have to give quite away as much Yieldly. At the very best, it was incompetence, right? So either they didn't realize or they did, and it was malicious. Neither one of those things is a good look. Now, so how do they make up for this? Now, the initial round, they announced that it wasn't going to work the exact same way because normally you have to be staked prior to the 7 days. The initial round, they allowed you to stake all the way through the 7 days, all the way up until the end. So you could join the no-loss lottery part way through. You can't do that now, but you could that first round. And then they airdropped a bunch of Yieldly to us, to everybody who was in that round, really kind of based on how long you were in. So they made up for it, essentially is what I'm getting at. And that's really what they have to do here. Yieldly has to make up for it, and probably to get some goodwill, throw in a little extra, quite frankly. So I think that they didn't realize that this was going to be such a big issue, that it was going to wipe out 6 days, 7 days worth of rewards. And now they have to make it up for us. And it would be okay. I mean, I would be okay if it was just locked up for 7 days and everybody got the same treatment. But the fact is, if you had withdrawn daily, you made out much better than I did, who only withdrew weekly. And so there is a lot of inequality here, and it's really Yieldly's fault because they changed the term after the fact. Now, if they had made this announcement ahead of time, if they had made this announcement and said, hey, you know what, on July 15th, we're moving to this system, go ahead and claim it, appropriately up until then, and then, make your claim on July 14th because on July 15th, it's all changing. I would have been okay with that because they would have given everybody a heads up. Here's what's going to happen. But they didn't do that. They unilaterally changed it without asking us, without giving us a heads up, without giving people an opportunity to claim their rewards for the 6 days. And let's face it, that's how they were gaining their audience. They were gaining their audience, giving away essentially the Yieldly. And then I'm restaking Yieldly on their own website. Right? Because there's no other functionality for the Yieldly yet. Not really. I'm not actively using their bridge. I'm not using Yieldly for any other, exchange purposes. It's purely to stake at this point in time. So to mess with the one thing that most of the people who are interacting with you are using your services for, you're just screwing with your audience. So Yieldly, I'm imploring you, make an airdrop, reward the people who were in this last no-loss lottery, make it right, reach out to us, put out another update, and you can gain some of that goodwill back. I don't know, you might lose some trust though long term. It may take a little while. I looked at the Yieldly no-loss lottery, and the no-loss lottery, the numbers are still up from what they were last week. So the pool is still growing. However, press like this and the Twitter posts and the bad word of mouth essentially, man, I love that word essentially today. is it'll hurt you in the long run. So I hope that you do the right thing. I hope that you make this right. For everyone else, that's what happened. So if you were on Yieldly, I'm sorry. If you were claiming daily, good for you. If you were claiming weekly, I'm sorry you lost out. If you weren't on Yieldly, you can say I told you so. I mean, I still made more Yieldly than you did, I guess, but still, it just doesn't sit right. It's the kind of stuff that people in the cryptocurrency ecosystem are looking out for, because if you've been in this system for more than a few years, you have been scammed in one way, shape, or form. If you haven't, you are extremely smart. You've been extremely cautious, and you probably lost out on some stuff because, you got to take a leap of faith every once in a while, and Yieldly was definitely a leap of faith for me. There's a new spot on here. They want you to put some money in, some algo in, and what happens? Doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right at all, Yieldly. So hopefully you make it right. That's it. That's all I've got for the yesterday's Algorand news. My name is Monty Allen. I am your crypto nerd. Stay safe out there. Don't get scammed.